Here we are, folks. Okay, live stream catch up with Mayo on a Sunday morning. We just had daylight savings time, so right now it's about close to hit 10 a.m., even though really yesterday it was 9 a.m. at this time. I don't mind daylight savings time 'cause I like the summertime, and I like the spring and all that. Well, anyway, here I am. Hello, Stephen. Good morning to you. And let's see. This is an impromptu chat. I didn't announce this. I usually say in advance, so we're going to be doing I'm going to be doing a chat in advance, but I didn't do it this time. So, hello everybody. Hello Tony. Doing good. How are you? I don't have much light on in here. I can turn this light on. I don't know if it'll help. It does a little bit. Yeah, that's a little better. Because I've got the sun coming through here through the window. And it's always I like to do that. I like to have natural light coming in. And yeah, so here I am. And if anybody has anything to talk about, just let me know. I'm using my regular laptop today, webcam. A lot of times when I do these, I'm doing them from my mobile phone, which is a different kind of view. So, too bad. Yeah, too bad I didn't know in advance that I was going to be doing this. I could have gave everybody a heads up that I'd be alive, but it's not the case. It is what it is. Um, yeah, so I'm just kind of waking up really, so I'm a little tired, but okay, Anthony. Hello. Anthony says, "Hi, Joe. Nice job by you and Matthew Street, that is, on Fab Gab. Good subject, John Lennon. You both made good points. Yeah, thanks very much. It was really great. I hope you'll check that out. Those who don't know, I just did a video discussion with my friend Matt Street from the Matthew Street channel, and we talked about what I call the marginalizing of John Lennon, and maybe some of that'll come up today. I don't know." But check out the video. It's an hour long, and I think we make some good observations, and we're fair to both Paul McCartney and John. I don't think we really just single John out or anything. DJ Reed, good morning to you. Yeah, it was really a pleasure to get back with Matthew Street again because when we did Fab Gab originally, Matthew Street was a regular on the show, but then as time went on, I don't know how long we did it, maybe a year, something. And he had prior commitments and didn't want to commit to doing the Fab Gab every time. So he said, "I'd be happy to be on, occasionally, now and then, if there's a good topic or something worth talking about." And I asked him. I said, "Okay." He actually suggested the topic of the module. See, I always felt about it's my feeling too. We both agree. Uh, we've been feeling that John these days, John Lennon has been mistreated, and you know they're talking only about the bad and none of the good anymore. And he feels the same way. So he was the one who suggested, "Why don't we do this subject?" And I said, "Great, no argument for me." Hello to Anthony from London in the UK. Anthony Bryan. This is what's great. It's 10 a.m. here, but it's 3 p.m. in London, right? In England, am I right? Charlie Welch, good morning. I've been enjoying those Talk More Talk shows. Yeah, it's another show that I do, Talk More Talk. Please check it out. Subscribe. Go over to YouTube on the channel Talk More Talk, where we talk about solo Beatle topics mostly, but sometimes Beatles as well. Um, Says, "I was thinking, why don't you and the panel discuss the Live in Japan CD? It's really that brought me back to George's music." Well, I think we did a show on George Harrison live in Japan. I'm pretty sure we did, not too long ago either. But you can go over there and check. But the thing is, the problem with the way YouTube sets up things currently is that you have to go and click on where it says live. Or you go to the channel Talk More Talk and click both video and live. Some of them come up under videos, and some of the shows come up under live. You have to check both categories. Hello, Christian. He says, "Hi Joe, I really enjoyed you and everyone else on with Larry Graves, Canadian Stud Muffin. Check the Canadian Stud uh, Stud Muffin channel, Canadian Stud Muffin. We did a Beatle discussion with a whole panel, including Ken Michaels and Glenn Kellaway and Sam St. John, and then I'm sorry, I forget the other gentleman's name right now. I'm sorry. Um, oh, very interesting. Hi, James. Yeah, I'm not from there anymore. I was there from childhood. Oh, let's see. Okay, now Anthony. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Anthony Vigliotti says, I would suggest people that tune into that John Subject podcast, which the whole way through, some folks, they commented, look to me, they did not hear the show in its entirety. That's true. That happens a lot. People don't listen to things in their entirety. Look, it's an hour-long show that we did about the marginalizing of John. And naturally, people don't always want to take that kind of time. They don't want to spend an hour watching the show. Oh, but if you do, you'll see all the points made. The only way to really judge it is to see the whole thing. You know, that's really the only accurate, fair way to judge it. Okay, hello, Mick, 1964. Says, what do you think of the book Tune In? Don't really know the history of it. It's going to be 3 books. What's the time frame? Well, Mark Lewison wrote a fantastic book, Tune In, and it's the first book. I think it goes up to, wow, I forget now. Is it early 1963? It goes up to 62 or 63, something like that. And it's the first book in a series of 3 books that he's going to do. It's been a long time in coming, the second book, and there's still no date as to when Mark Lewison is going to do part 2. But it should be a 3 book affair. Okay, James. Okay, James lives in Lynbrook now. I gotcha. December 31st. Hi, Tom Hunyadi's here. He says the Mark Lewison book. It's December 31st of 62. I'm pretty sure I remember, unless I'm getting old. I thought I remember them doing the song "Please Please Me," recording "Please Please Me" in the Tune In book, but I could be wrong. Mikey Pie says, "Hey Joe, how about a Fab Gab ranking? I guess you mean ranking the Venus and Mars album songs along with Matthew Street." Well, You know, um, yeah, all this stuff will be done eventually. We'll be ranking all, songs on all the albums. I'm trying to make Fab Gab into more than just an album ranking show. When we started, it was mostly ranking the songs on the albums, but I'm trying to do more than just that. Trying to do more stuff, different stuff, discussions, conversations. Uh, Please Please Me was recorded in 62. I don't think so, was it? I'm losing my mind here. Was Please Please Me recorded in 62? I don't think so. No, early 63, right? But anyway, back to what you were asking, Mikey. Um, and as far as Matthew Street, he's always welcome back, but he has to his schedule is tight. He has to take care of his dad, and he's got responsibilities. And when he can do it, I'm glad to have him back. The song was recorded in '62. I might be losing it, man. I really might be if I can't remember that. I'm some Beatle fan I am if I don't know the date of the recording of the "Please Please Me" single. Wow. So sorry when it's a little dead here, folks. I'm just waiting for comments to respond to because I don't really. If I have something to talk about, great, but I don't really have anything really to talk about today. on my own. So here I am. Edward asked me, Joe, are you planning to go to the Beatle Fest? Yes, the Fest for Beatles fans. Yes, indeed, I'm going there. For those who don't know, the Fest for Beatles fans is a 3-day affair. It starts on Friday, March 31st. It's also Saturday, April 1st, and Sunday, April 2nd. And I'm going to be there. I know Tom Hagnotti is going to be there, who's here. A lot of us are going to be there. And hopefully, I'm going to be doing a couple of panels. I'll be on the guest panels, but also I want to meet my viewers. So if anybody really wants to come and say hello, please do. And if you see me walking around that weekend, say hi. September 11th, 62 was the recording date. Boy, oh boy. You think I would know this stuff, wouldn't you? Hello, Outdoor. Haven't seen you here in a while. Let's see. What is my favorite Fab Gab episode that I did? Well, this one that I just did with Matthew Street is up there. Marginalizing of John. I think I made a lot of good points, and I enjoyed some of the Get Back panels on Fab Gab. We did some Get Back when the documentary came out. We did a lot of discussions with a multi-panel affair, and I like that. Those are the ones that stick out. September 11th, 1962. That rings a bell because you remember tragically 9/11 in 2001, and September 11th does ring a bell. So I stand corrected. Wow, it's early in the morning, folks. Let me get my wits about me. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Good morning, Elvin. Joseph Mantaneo. Hello. What do you think about the new book on Paul's songs? Are you talking about? Geez, I forget the name. Wow. Help me. Tell me, Tom. You know what it is. Just did you're doing a thing on it. Oh, you just did a video on it. I don't have it yet, if that's the one we're talking about, but I forget the name of the book. Music is Ideas, right? That's the one. Thank you. Anthony Vigliotti says September 11th, 1962 version was not the released version. This is incredible that we don't I don't have this. I look, originally I said I think Please Please Me, the single, the version we know, was recorded in early 63. Somebody said no, it's September 11th, 62. So that was not the one that was the released version. Okay. Okay. Mick 1964 says, I see your media in the background. I'd love to have everything in physical form, but I don't know where I'd put it all. Doesn't that get to be a problem? It is a problem. It is very much a problem. I do not have room for everything anymore. Most of the stuff is here, but it also has leaked out into the living room, off camera. And eventually, I'm going to be living in a big house. Is my goal, and that could be 3 years away at this point. It keeps changing. 2 years, 3 years. It's a ways away. But yeah, it does get to be a problem. What is my favorite Michael J. Fox movie? Well, wow. I'm trying to think of the movies. I've seen a bunch of movies of his. I guess I'd have to say Back to the Future, first one. I mean, I like the movie Light of Day because Joan Jett is in it, but it's not a good movie. It's not my favorite Michael J. Fox movie. I'm trying to think. Like I've seen other movies by with Michael J. Fox, Teen Wolf and Bright Lights, Big City. Um, I haven't seen that in a while. Elvin says, "Nice picture of Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff." We're talking about over here, right there. The Frankenstein monster, Karloff, and Igor Lugosi from the movie Son of Frankenstein. Howie Helmet says the released version of Please Please Me was recorded in November of 62. Fair enough. Martin McGrath, what's the good word? What's going on? Doc Hollywood. I remember Doc Hollywood also. Yes, with Michael J. Fox, but yeah. All right, folks, we're moving right along here. We got enough people here right now. Thanks for watching. Please consider helping out the channel by hitting that little funky, that the S with a line through it. Academy Awards are tonight. Who do you think will win? Let's put it this way. I'm getting really back into movies, but I'm not so much with brand new movies, although I've seen a couple. I don't really care. I'm done with the Academy Awards. After that nonsense last year where Will Smith smacked Chris Rock in the head, I mean, we're done. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna get so much into it. Right now. I'm done. I'm finished, and I don't know really any of the movies. I mean, I saw the movie Elvis. I mean, I predict Austin Butler is going to win an award, not because I think his performance as Elvis Presley is so earth-shattering or anything, but I just think because of the politics of it all. I can always tell. I don't have to necessarily see certain movies or certain performances to know who's going to win. I just get the vibe it's going to be Austin Butler. That's the only thing I can say about the Academy Awards. Um, what is my favorite Dracula movie? Comedy wants to know. That's it. I'm glad you're asking me some movie questions. Please feel free to do that as well. Um, my favorite Dracula movie, believe it or not, doesn't even have Dracula in it, really. It's a movie called Dracula's Daughter from 1936. But if we're talking about the actual Dracula character, it's funny you should say that. Currently, I'm watching a bunch of Dracula movies about the original Dracula story. And I just finished watching the Jack Palance Dracula, which I was very disappointed with, Dan Curtis version. In fact, I'd seen that movie before. It's not my first time. And I looked up some notes, and the last time I saw the Jack Palance Dracula movie, I had thought that it was really good. And I looked at my notes, and this time I didn't like it as much. I thought it was not that good. And I looked at my last notes the last time I watched the Jack Palance Dracula TV version. You know when it was? The year 2000. The year 2000. How could that be? It's been 23 years since I saw that movie. And this time I didn't enjoy it as much. But anyway, right now, I don't know. I love the Bela Lugosi classic because of Bela Lugosi. I mean, that's probably my favorite Dracula movie just because of Lugosi. Not that it's the best made, there's better filmed versions, but I do like Lugosi as Dracula. Christian said, asked me, Joe, did you see Ringo is recording again? No, I didn't know that. I think he's good for him. It could be argued that Ringo, a lot of his stuff is he's putting out almost too much stuff with all those EPs, and it's getting to be like a lot of the sameness. It feels very like samey, the same old, same old. However, it's good that Ringo does this to keep himself sober, to keep himself active, and to keep himself youthful. I mean, we're looking at Ringo who's going to be 83 this July. 83. Um, Elvin reminds us that Lon Chaney Jr. was the only one to play three monsters: the Wolfman, Frankenstein, and Dracula. True, he also played the Mummy as well. Hello, Thomas Jean. I'm not sure what you're asking about the Stones here. I might have missed some of it, some of your question. Let's see. What is there ever a time when Ringo isn't recording? Well, he didn't record between 1983. Well, he did record it between 80. I was going to say between 83 and 92, but he did actually make that Chips Bowman record. Good morning, Mike Sweeney. Edward wants to know what's my favorite Charlton Heston movie. It's got to be Ben Hur. Ben Hur, Planet of the Apes, and the Omega Man, and Soylent Green. Those are my top House Heston films. Christian says Ringo's EP3 was very strong as compared to Change the World. I agree with you. I think EP3 was better than Change the World. Oh, a rumor that Ringo was recording with the Stones. He isn't. There was a rumor going around first that it was Paul and Ringo were going to be working on a Stones album, and it turns out that Ringo was not on it. And it turns out that I think all Paul is doing is he's playing bass on one song. That's it. Robin Burke, hello. No, I've never seen the Netflix series Stranger Things, so I'm not familiar with that. What is your favorite King Kong director? Oh, no, it's not Peter Jackson. I despise Peter Jackson's King Kong. I'll tell you that. It's got to be the original Kong from 1933, as far as director. Astro Zombie. Astro Zombie says, ever notice how country singers seem to still sound good even in their 80s? The older strained voice can help occasionally. Yeah, that's true. Look at Willie Nelson. Everybody, hit that like button. Smash that like button. Hit that like button. A lot of people say that when they do live streams, you know? Or not just live streams, even when they just do regular videos, they say that. Joseph Mantaneo says that I would like Stranger Things. Yes. Comedy asked me, what is my favorite zombie movie? Well, favorite zombie movie, there's two kinds of zombies. You have the zombies from the 1930s and 1940s, which are more like voodoo movies and like kind of like sleepwalking zombies. They're not flesh-eating ghouls. My favorite zombie movie actually is going to surprise some people. It is Day of the Dead, the third in the Dead film, the Romero trilogy. Day of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead. Those are my two favorite zombie movies from that. Talking about the ghoulish flesh-eating zombies. Any more news about Dolly Parton album with Paul on it? I haven't heard anything. Joseph Mantaneo asked me, Have I ever worked in a movie theater? No, I never did. I remember putting in applications to be an usher or something when I was a teenager, but no, I never worked in a movie theater. And Penny Lane has joined us. Penny Lane is in my ears and in my eyes. Yes, Elvin wants to know, did I ever pick up the Planet of the Apes Ultimate DVD collection from 2006 with the Caesar head bust? I certainly did. It's right here behind the computer screen. I almost want to reach forward and grab it and show it to you. I used to have it up there. See this empty space? That's where it was sitting, and I'm going to put it back up there. The thing is, right now below it, there's all kinds of stuff in the way. I can't really get near it, but eventually I shall do that. Am I still using my old computer? Says I had to laugh when you said yours was missing keys. Yeah, I'm using my old computer. It is a mess. It is full of dust and dirt. The keys are broken off. Some of them I can't type real. I can only type certain words. That's why if I was going to type something in the comment down here, I couldn't type it. What I have to do? I have to take my mouse here and I have to go over somewhere and copy paste certain letters from elsewhere in order to do it. I know. Why don't I just get a new keyboard, or why don't I just get a new laptop? You'll see one day. When I was a kid, did I ever go movie hopping in a multiplex? Yeah, I did that a few times. Bounce around from movie to movie. Not a lot, but I did that. Heroic Waffles, good name. I like unusual names, creative names. By the way, check out my movie channel. I've changed the name. Ta-da! The movie channel's name has changed again. I've changed it to, get this, the first title I originally used that I liked but abandoned. It's back. The title is Mayo's Marquee. That's my movie channel title again. Mayo's Marquee. And please check out that channel, subscribe. If you like movies and if you like television, I got two channels. I got Mean Mr. Mayo and I got Mayo's Marquee. I always like that title. Joseph. I always liked that title, but I never stuck with it after a while because I figured a lot of people would even know what the hell a marquee is or what marquee means. But screw them. I like it. Christian says, and I always liked that title of your movie channel. Thank you. Okay. Comedy asked me, what is your favorite Wolfman movie? That's easy. The second one, Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. It has the best performance from Lon Chaney Jr. as Larry Talbot. It has the Frankenstein monster and the Wolfman. It's the first monster team up. Two monsters, more than one monster fighting or teaming up. The Wolfman scenes are great. The best Wolfman scenes. Edward asked me, and it's a fair question. Edward asked me, "Why am I always changing my movie title, for my movie channel?" I just can't get satisfied because when I do a movie title, usually or any kind of title, like take this channel here, Mean Mr. Mayo. That's the first name I thought of, and I never changed it. I stuck with it because I wanted to have like a kind of a play on words or a pun. Mean Mr. Mustard, Mean Mr. Mayonnaise. you know? So that's why I did that. I loved it. I never changed it. I liked it right from the beginning and I stuck with it. As far as the movie channel, I just never been able to hit that flow. I started out with Mayo's Marquee, then I called it just Mayo's Movies, then I called it Metro Goldwyn Mayo. I like to have a little bit of a joke, a tongue-in-cheek thing, but Mayo's Marquee is not really a tongue-in-cheek. It's pretty straightforward, but I just never got satisfied. I even tried Dial M for Mayo, which was like a takeoff on Dial M for Murder, the movie, the Hitchcock movie. But always trying to, you know, I wanted to do two things. I wanted to have the name in there, Mayo, and I wanted to have movies in there. So I wanted Mayo and movies, but with a kind of like a pun too, which play on words, and I couldn't come up with one. Penny Lane says, "I like your movie channel name now. Keep it." I could almost say, I've said this before, but I really think I'm going to keep that one. This one, the current one. Astro Zombie says, "Once someone watches a video, I don't think the title of a channel even matters. I love lots of channels with some basic names and some with nonsense names. If content is good, people will watch." No, I agree with you, Astro Zombie. No, I mean I'm still going to make the same content, and you're right. It's all about the content that attracts people. You know, I mean that's the main thing. I agree with you. However, I still like to have a fun name as well. What do I think of Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein? It's a classic. It's one of their best movies and one of the best monster romps. I absolutely love it. Mick64 says you did some reviews of Lost in Space on your early movie channel. You deleted them early on. Not sure why. I don't remember doing them actually. I mean, you could be right, but I just don't remember them. Somewhere along the line, I'll do a better, dedicated Lost in Space videos. I'm sure eventually. Um, Edward says, "What about the title Million Dollar Mayo?" No, not at all. Don't like that at all. The reason is, I mean, because you're talking about a play on the New York show, Million Dollar Movie. There was something called Million Dollar Movie on Channel 9. And no, 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 no. Stop with the names. I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with uh, sticking with Mayo's Marquee, unless of course something better comes along. But you know, uh, Mayo's Miracle Movies. No, 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 no. It's a little too long winded, I think. Blood Vessel says, Mr. Blood Vessel, what's up? By the way, I see you're not at the record store, neither am I, obviously. I kind of want to see Jim over there, but if you see Jim before I do, tell him, I'm looking forward to seeing him, because I don't know, I like seeing him. Can't really see. In fact, I'm wearing the record. See that? The record store, Affinity Records. You can't really see it. Come on, everybody. What's on your so-called minds? Hit that like button. I think the likes help with the algorithm. If you hit the like button, give a thumbs up, it helps with the algorithm or whatever and promoting your video. So, what's the first movie that I saw? I really can't remember the first movie I ever saw. I don't know. I probably don't remember the first movies as a child, but I know I was in the drive-in theater watching movies like The Green Slime and the Astro Zombies. Actually, Astro Zombies was a movie that I saw in a drive-in as a child. Um, I heard that my mother took us to see Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz in the movie The Long, Long Trailer. Not when it originally came out. It came out in the 50s, and I wasn't born in the 50s. Must have been re-released or something. Yes, indeed, Patty Boyd is going to be at the fest for Beatles fans. Yes. Astro Zombie says, I'm promoting Bazooka Joe and my videos and wearing his merch. He needs to give you a cut of the moolah. You're right. Joe never says like thanks or anything. I've gotten him a lot of customers and interest in his store. And every time I tease him and I say, "Come on, Joe, you owe me some thanks." He always says, "I don't need it because records sell themselves." Whatever, you know. Okay, Joseph Mantaneo says, "I have been collecting Paul's classical albums and the Fireman albums. Which classical album of Paul's is your least liked and favorite?" I don't listen to Paul's classical music. I have them for completeness sake, but I'm not interested. I'm just not interested. I know it's a sacrilege, right? I'm not interested. If I want to hear classical music, I listen to the masters do it. Bach, Beethoven, those guys. But Mick64 says, if I move, Bazooka Joe will miss the free record store advertising. And yes, I'm sure of that. But, yeah, but I mean, back to Paul McCartney's classical albums, I still utterly respect that Paul has such a wide array of versatility and that he's done so many genres and he's tried so many things. That's great. I mean, I take nothing from Paul, you know, on that. I give him all the kudos in the world for that. Charlie Welch asked, did I ever watch A Hard Day's Night in a movie theater? Yes, I've seen A Hard Day's Night in a movie theater at least three times, if not more. It came back to movie theaters in 1982, I believe. I saw it. I saw it a few times. I also saw Help in a movie theater only once. There was one theater that was showing A Hard Day's Night in Help in New York City in the 1990s. David Henson asked me, "Do you think we will finally get the definitive McCartney box set of unreleased material only after he passes on?" I don't know. I don't know. We may get it still before he leaves us. I don't know. I'm hoping we get something like that. Unreleased material. What's my favorite war movie? Again, just like classical, albums. I'm not really interested in war movies. I remember seeing Paths of Glory, Kubrick, and it was good, but that was like 15, 20 years ago. Can't really remember it. Um, you would think that would have seen some war movies. It's just not a favorite subject of mine. I've never seen Patton with George C. Scott. Um, just not interested. I saw the beginning of Full Metal Jacket, and I like the whole beginning stuff with Private Pile and all that stuff. The, the, the guy that insult the has a hard time, like gets insulted and everything. But I've never seen the whole thing. I never saw. Geez, I can draw. It's funny how you draw a blank and you know the title. Um, Not Full Metal Jacket. The other, Saving Private Ryan. Never seen that. Adam, what's going on? Abbott and Costello or the Three Stooges in war films? Well, I've seen both of them in the army. The Three Stooges are better in the army in the war films. And good morning to Adam. What's the good word, huh? Why don't they release all the non-released recordings from the Beatles and solo work? Ah, too much stuff. Too much stuff. Astro Zombie talks about Cinema Chat, the channel Cinema Chat, by my friend Darren. Cinema Chat is really showing off cool horror collectibles with his latest shorts. Yes, I've seen that. I would recommend checking out Cinema Chat, the channel, and make sure you say, "Hey, me, Mr. Mayo sent me." Let him know that I'm, helping him out. It's a beautiful sunny day today. I don't know what the temperature is out there, but we've had a wonderful winter and spring is right around the corner. I love it. Hello to Darren Gamble. What's the good word, Darren? So let's go, folks. It's your dime. That was inspired, that phrase. It's your dime. Am I going to be on Doc's chat today? I usually am on Doc's chat. Today I know I gotta be somewhere. I might not be able to be on early. I might be on later. I don't know. But when he starts his chat, I may be out today. Okay. Adam tells us they're making a Shriek 5 and a new Toy Story. Don't care. I don't care. What do I think about Paul saying that they did not like Yoko in the studio when they were recording? I would respect that, and I would agree. I mean, even though I tend to defend Yoko because she gets too much hate, I do think that she should not have been in the studio. I don't think Yoko should have been in the studio. I wouldn't like it either if I was one of the Beatles. But John, it was his way or the highway. He was going to record with Yoko by his side or not at all, and they had no choice. And I don't condone that. I don't think that was right. I also defend John Lennon a lot, right? And I still don't think that's right. I can criticize John and Yoko. I don't think they had any business doing that. What is my favorite moment from the new Larry Graves Canadian Stud Muffin live stream? I don't know if you're talking about the one when we were all in there. I don't recall. I just did it a couple of days ago. Check it out over on Larry Graves Canadian Stud Muffin channel. I make an appearance on there. along with Ken Michaels and Glenn Calloway, Sam St. John, that other poor gentleman who I can't remember his whole name, Brian, I think. Sorry if I'm wrong, I just can't remember. Anyway, and we had a nice discussion, Beatles related, of course. Hello, Raymond. Raymond Yako. What's going on? Okay, Adam Fresh asked me, where's the one place that I want to travel to? Actually, two places. One of them, obviously, England. I'd like to do the whole thing. I'd like to see the Liverpool scene, and I'd like to go to Abbey Road, across the street. So I like to do that, and I also would like to go maybe to Japan. Always wanted to visit Japan, and whether I ever will or not, I don't know. Okay, Edward, thank you much. Thank you. Christian says it's nice to see me and Larry collaborating along with everyone else. Absolutely. Larry and I are friends and we respect each other. And we had a couple of moments that people inflate, over the years, but that's just it was a silly thing. I gotta say, that's an interesting title. Forrest Whitaker's Left Eye. I gotta say, that's an interesting name. And you say, man, Ray Romano let himself go. Really? How so? I haven't seen a picture of Ray Romano in a long time. Robin Burke says, "Have you seen Boogie Boy? Joan Jett has a small role in it." I think I might have heard of it now that you mention it, but I've never seen it. Yeah, I don't think Joan Jett is a great actress. She does okay. I've seen her in some other things. She was in an episode of Highlander once. Okay, let's go, folks. It's your dime. I love saying that. I guess. Yeah, sorry for I hate awkward moments of silence, but sometimes there's nothing to say unless there's comments coming in. Just wait for the comments. Yes, sirree. Want me to do a little tap dancing for you or singing? How's that? Oh, man. Sometimes you wonder, is this the end of the road today? Is this the end of the line? Are we done? Are we all done? I know there's always more people getting up and coming here, so I will be in tears, Charlie says, if I make it to Liverpool. You will visit all those places you remember. Strawberry Fields done it for me. Yeah, aren't they tearing that down or something? I don't, it seems like they're just ruining everything. They already ruined the cavern. I couldn't care less about going into the cavern because it's not the real cavern. The real cavern is a parking lot. It was ridiculous they did that. Penny Lane asks, "What is the next movie I'll be watching?" Well, I got a lot of movies here that I bought. Don't know what the next one is. I've been watching a lot of Dracula movies, and it'll probably be another Dracula movie, I guess. What is my favorite actor who played Robin in the Batman movies? Well, the only one, I mean, Burt Ward. Burt Ward from the '66 TV show. Holy internet! Have I seen Don lately? Not lately. No, I haven't been going to the record store as much as I used to. I used to go. I won't say every day, but close to every day. Spend some time there. Now I go 2 or 3 times a week, and I haven't seen Don. Okay, Adam asked me, What is my recommendation for the start of first time viewings of the Honeymooners and Monty Python and the Marx Brothers?" Well, Monty Python, I don't know enough about them. I mean, I've seen some, they're funny, but I'm not an expert. And the Marx Brothers, I would recommend Duck Soup. If you're going to watch the first Marx Brothers, there's two films I'd recommend. One of them is Duck Soup, another one is A Night at the Opera. Those two. The Honeymooners, you can't go wrong with the Classic 39. I mean, any episode from the Classic 39 are worth seeing. It's simple as that. Make sure they're the Classic 39, not the Lost episodes. I mean, I'm a fan of the Lost Honeymooners episodes. I like them a lot. I think they're overlooked and underrated in some cases. But for somebody just starting out, you don't want to start with the Lost episodes. You want to start with the main ones. My favorite episode is "Oh My Aching Back." So look up "Oh My Aching Back" and watch that one. Where do I buy most of my movies? I regret to say that these days it has to be online. Most of my movies are bought on Amazon, unfortunately, because they used to have a little more of my kind of movies in the stores. You used to have Tower Records, Virgin. Used to have Tower Records and Video. They used to have Virgin Megastore, and they used to have Best Buy with tons of stuff. Not anymore. But I also go, excuse me, to used stores where they have used records and used movies. I never saw the movie The Warriors. No. Um, as far as what are my thoughts on Kino Lorber, they do great stuff and they put out some pretty good movies. And Kino Lorber is a very respectable label company. So there you go on that. Adam asked me, "Am I ever going to the Chicago Beatle Fest?" Not this year, for sure, not this year. Now I'm thinking, and it's just a thought. I'm thinking maybe going to the Chicago Fest next year in 2024. And the only reason I say that is because 2024 is the 60th anniversary of the Beatles coming to America, and it's going to be a big year, big celebration. And 2024 is also the 50th year of the 50th anniversary of the Beatle Fest itself. So I think it's worth making a trip for the Chicago Fest in 2024. What's my favorite remaster movie? Movie that's been remastered and how good? Well, the first thing that pops into my mind is not really feature films. There, Little Rascals, Our Gang shorts. The short subjects, Our Gang is one of the best restorations I've ever seen in my life. I think. Yeah, Mick64 says I was shocked when I was in Best Buy last week. Their physical media is down to almost nothing. You're right. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. It's not so much that people are not interested at all in physical media. Not, I mean, granted, a lot of people are into streaming now, but also the fact that the stores dictate which way it's going to go. If the stores don't stock things, people aren't interested. It goes both ways. If they're not selling, they're not going to stock them. But I believe it's mostly a choice, that they make just for the heck of it. So, John Marino, Paul and Linda had a cameo in a film called Breaking Glass. Adam wants to know, is it worth it to get 4K discs? Different people say different things. I did a video on my movie channel, Mayo's Marquee, where I discussed one very, very successful video I had where a lot of people watch it about 4K discs. Are they necessary? Are they not necessary? And I had mixed reactions. Some people said, yes, it's worth the upgrade. Other people said, it's hardly worth the upgrade. I've done it. It's no big deal. So it goes both ways, and I don't really care about upgrading or not, but I'm never going to say never because one day I'm going to have to buy a new TV. And when I buy a new TV, That television set will be a 4K HD TV. That's what they're making now. So I'll have no choice. Once I get the 4K TV, I might consider buying a 4K disc player. I'm buying some 4K discs, but until then, no, I'm not really interested. Rob YouTube says it's strange that the reduction in availability of physical media coincides with an increase in how to download films in 4K videos. Yeah, what a coincidence. Do I like mockumentary films? Why am I not? I'm not sure what mockumentary films are right now. I probably know what they are. I just didn't know the names of what they are. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Now Adam wants to know, is region free worth it for foreign and British releases? Yeah, I think it's worth it. I have a lot of movies that are not they're not region one. You know, and I used to have a region free player, but it broke. So I have to get a new region free player. I still would rather, I think all of us would rather, I'd rather that everything be just one region. Why do we have to have different regions? You know, I don't understand that. Um, so what was my final synopsis of the marginalization of Lennon? Well, I don't know exactly what you mean, Charlie. The video pretty much addresses everything that I did. And if synopsis, you mean I don't know if you mean how I felt it went, or I don't know exactly what you mean. What's my final feeling? If you mean synopsis, like the general summary of the whole thing, the summary is that in 1980 to 1990, John was sanctified, deified as a saint because he got murdered, and people were saying that John was the whole Beatles, and that was not fair to Paul. And it was wrong. And I told everybody at the time, John Lennon is not the Beatles. Paul is just as important as John. This is an equal thing. And then after Paul started touring in 1989 and 90 until the present day, now everybody forgets John. Everybody thinks Paul is a chief Beatle. Most people think Paul is the whole the Beatles, and that's just as wrong as it was the other way around. Neither one is the whole Beatles. And also, the summary in it is that these days John is maligned and despised and hated and made out to be a negative bad guy all the time, and that's got to change. I mean, John never denied that he was had flaws and faults and wasn't perfect, but in his lifetime he always wrote about it and talked about it in interviews. And it gets to the point now where instead of him being the devil, it's time for people to start thinking he had some good qualities, which he did. It's funny that I can't believe we have to. I or anybody has to have to defend John Lennon. I mean, nobody had to defend John Lennon in the 1980s, or 90s. Oh, the Ruddles would be an example of a mockumentary. Okay, I got you. Thanks, Philip. Yeah, okay. Or this is Spinal Tap. John Marino and Philip. Thank you. But I'm just thinking, yeah, what do I think of them? Yeah, if they're done well, I like them. The Ruddles is good. Spinal Tap's good. Depends how it's done. Do I have a favorite YouTube channel? Penny Lane wants to know. I have some channels that I favor over others. I don't really like talking about it though because I don't want to leave anybody out or diminish anybody else's channel. So I don't really like to talk about that. You know. Mick64 says some of the Blu-ray players out there are junk. Anyone have a recommendation on a decent player? If you watch a video of mine, I don't know, go over to my channel, Mayo's Marquee, and it's a video of a while back now, a couple of years back, where I talk about stocking up on Blu-ray players. And there's a Sony one that I like. There's a Sony one that I really enjoy. It's not junk, and it was like $70, 70, $75. It was cheap. Do I think any chance there's going to be a virtual reality Beatles game, simulation, or film? I possibly. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's what they do these days, right? So, Lila Hale asked me if you were going to a fancy dress or co- a cosplay event, what Beatle theme would you go for, or horror character? Um, I guess if I was going to a Beatles event, I'd go for the early collarless suits look or something. Maybe I would look pretty funny. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. A horror character? Uh, I don't know. I mean, I used to go to costume parties, and I was a werewolf once. I got some photos of that. So, good morning, everybody, or good afternoon to some people. Good morning, good afternoon, all the rest of that. What color Sergeant Pepper uniform would you go for? Well, I don't know. What would I look best in? They don't have a black one, do they? I think I like a black one. No, they don't. They don't have that. Um, I would have to go for the kind of yellowy, lime greeny color because that's John Lennon. I think I gotta love Adam, man. He just asks any questions about anything just to keep it going. I appreciate that. What do you think of Godzilla? You don't really care, do you? Um, what about Godzilla? I'm a big Godzilla fan. I'm a fan of Godzilla. I don't like the new Godzilla, not the recent Godzilla movies. Talking about from the original Gojira, talking about 1954 all the way into the 90s, I guess, and early 2000s. I haven't seen the new Batman yet, but I do have a Blu-ray of it that I got for like $4. So I am gonna eventually watch all the Batman movies again too. So I doubt very much that I'm gonna be seeing the new Indiana Jones movie. I doubt that very much. I mean, the last one I remember seeing was a ridiculous opening scene with a refrigerator or something that was so stupid I can't take it anymore. Do I like Nicolas Cage? I think Nicolas Cage is overrated. I don't know what the big deal is with Nicolas Cage, to tell you the truth. I mean, I don't think he's horrible, but I don't think he's a great actor. I don't know where people think that Nicolas Cage is all that. And he's playing Dracula in the new movie Renfield, I think, and I got to decide whether or not I'm going to go for that. So I don't know. And I haven't seen every Nicolas Cage movie. Obviously, I never saw National Treasure. I'm not saying I've seen every Nicolas Cage movie. No, sometimes I like over the top and cheesy. John Marino says people forget that Paul started writing songs at each other with the Ram and the back cover of the Ram album. Exactly. Yeah. When it came to songwriting, I'm talking about here, Paul was the first one. Now, some people point out a line in I Found Out off the Plastic Ono Band album where John Lennon sings, I seen religion from Jesus to Paul. Um, I don't know if that necessarily means McCartney or, the biblical Paul. I don't know. It could mean Paul, but that's not that bad of a dig if it is. I don't know. Boy, Adam is really laying it on thick. Thank you, Adam. Hit that thumbs up. Thank you, everybody. We got 52 people here right now. Hit that like button. Thumbs up. Help the algorithm. Much appreciated. And if you feel so inclined, smash that dollar sign. Why do I ask? A lot of people watching this, oh, how shameful of him to ask that. I find in my experience, if you don't give a little gentle push, it doesn't really, you don't often get it anywhere. Sometimes you still don't get anywhere, but it helps. And I'm not ashamed of it in any way, shape, or I would have been ashamed of it in the early days of making videos, the first 5 years or so. But considering I'm doing this 11 years, and I working hard on these videos and editing them and time that it takes and everything, I don't feel bad at all. To be honest with you, so many people right now, digging their claws in there, thinking, "Oh, listen to what he's saying. Listen to him." I'm just being honest with you. Okay, I'm reading some comments by Pirate Gamer Boy. Hello, James Farley. Um, yeah, Astro Zombie quotes John Lennon. If you can't have a fight with my best friend, who can who can you fight with? Something like that. How did Ringo end up doing Thomas the Tank Engine? I don't know. I think I think I do know. I think I remember him saying that he was reading some stories or something. There was something where Ringo was reading children's stories or books and they liked it, so they hired him for Thomas the Tank Engine, I think. John Marino says, however, John Lennon did think everything Paul wrote was about him. Well, let me explain something. First of all, it's easy to become paranoid. I love people like Paul and John has explained this, who don't come out and say what they mean. Like they never come out blatantly and say what they mean. Paul writes subtle things in songs. It's not John's fault for misinterpreting some of Paul's lyrics. Well, how is he supposed to not know that "Dear Boy" is actually is not about him? How's he supposed to think that? Paul's writing too many people about John, but "Dear Boy" is about Linda's wife. But Paul never says anything. You know what I mean? If you're not going to come out and say it quite kind of directly, or let somebody know, it's only natural that people are going to think, well, if this song was about me, this one could be too, and maybe that one. How are you supposed to know? So I have not seen the Tiny Tim documentary, nor do I have any desire to. Will I be reading the new Mal Evans book? I certainly will. I'm looking forward to the Mal Evans book. Hello to Michael from snowy Wisconsin. Better you than me, sir. I'm glad we never got snow this season. Do I think there might or could be a new film or documentary or biopic based on the upcoming Mal Evans book? Anything is possible there too. But to say yes, I think so. I don't know. So it's just a guess. It's all it is, a guess. Not there's no way of knowing for sure. Whatever happened to the film The Fifth Beatle based on Brian Epstein? I don't like that title anyway, The Fifth Beatle, because I don't think of him as the fifth Beatle. I think of George Martin as a fifth Beatle. I don't know what happened to that film. I thought it was coming out. I don't know. The Brian Epstein story. If Hollywood offered me money to write new films, would I do it? The kind of films I write, I don't think would fit the new audience really. Mick 64 says now that he's retired, it doesn't bother him at all when he gets up and sees that it snowed. Well, I do because I mean it's better because I used to be a mailman, and when it snowed, that means I had to walk in the snow and deliver mail, and that was sucked. However, um, but still, I gotta go. I'm getting older. Huh, I know. I don't look it. I love saying that. I know, but or feel it. But the thing is, going out there in the snow is still dangerous. You still could fall. You could still slip. Your car could skid. Snow is a hazard. Snow is nothing but a hazard. As I say, it's a pretty picture. I think snow looks pretty. I like the look of it, but boy, oh boy, it's not practical for getting around. No. Thank you, John Marino. Thank you for being here. When is my new video with Anthony or my nephew? I don't know when I'm going to make a video with my nephew. I think he wants to get together for Record Store Day. There's a chance that I may have my nephew in a Record Store Day video coming up in April. As far as Anthony goes, we have plans to get together later this month. Hopefully, they won't fall through. There may be another Anthony video this before this month is over. Lila asked me, now that I'm retired, what job would I consider going back to doing? You're looking at it. This is my job, so to speak. No, this is me working at home doing what I love. I don't have any desire to go to work, to go punch a clock. No, that's not for me. I'm a creative guy. I've always been a creative guy. I shouldn't have been wasting my time and my talents. Um, Carrying a mail sack on my shoulder and dogging mail around for almost 30 years, but paid the bills. Mick 64 says if there's snow out there I stay in and watch a movie. Well, yeah, me too if it's really bad out there, but eventually it gets to the point where you can't stay in and watch a movie for days. Sometimes the snow hangs around there for a couple of weeks or a month. Let's see. Hello to Pascal. He says, I thought your title, Dial M for Mayo, was a great movie channel title. Why did you change it? Well, I changed it only because I don't know, I didn't think two things. Number one, movies wasn't in the title. I wanted to have something to do with movies in the title. Or in this case, now I'm using Mayo's marquee. Marquee is like a movie marquee, so it kind of has movies in it. That's the main reason. I don't know how many people got the joke. Dial M for Mayo was a takeoff on the Hitchcock movie Dial M for Murder. And I might go back to that title. I was almost going to change the title from Dial M for Mayo to Dial M for Movies. But then my name's not in there. It's tough. You know. When would I be making any video logs or short film? I'm not sure. I don't know. Did I ever watch The French Connection? Yes, I watched The French Connection, but I caught it very, very, very late in life, and I just thought it was okay. I didn't think it was so fantastic. I really didn't. And the car chase, I've seen a lot better car chases. There's better car chase in the movie called The Seven Ups is better than the car scene. French Connection. I mean, anyway. And then Elvin suggests, how about Dial M for Mayo movies? See, that's a little longer than I like it to be, and also in my opinion, that ruins the flow. I mean, it's supposed to be close to the movie. Dial M for Mayo. Dial M for Mayo. 5 syllables. Dial M for movies Dial M for murder. That's 5 syllables. Yours is six. Just just doesn't flow as well. What's my favorite Bruce Willis movie? Well, it's a cheat. My favorite movie, two of them actually. The first one is Pulp Fiction. I love the Bruce Willis stuff in Pulp Fiction. Number 2, and it's not really a Bruce Willis movie, and the other one is an underrated film. I don't know why people don't like it. It's a black comedy, horror, dark humor comedy, they called Death Becomes Her. And in Death Becomes Her, you have a fantastically geeky, nerdy performance by Bruce Willis playing totally against type as a tough macho hero guy, and I love his performance in that movie. I won't answer that question, Adam. I don't know. I don't know who I'd pick out of those 3 guys. Is Columbo the greatest program ever made? Not even close for me. And Mick64 says, "I get it now. All the talk and the jokes about you changing the name of the movie channel gets you more subs." No, no. If anything, I think changing my movie title so much could turn people off or confuse people as to what my channel is, where it is. So I'm not doing it as a publicity stunt. No, it's not true. I really don't watch Kojak or Columbo, so I'm lost there. Now that Robert Blake has died, I'm hoping that maybe we'll get more volumes of Beretta. Beretta is a show I used to like. I think from a childhood perspective, when I was a kid. So James Gracia asks, would Brad Garrett have been a choice to play Herman Munster? And yes, Brad Garrett Brad Garrett does an impression. He's done impressions of Herman Munster, and he's perfect. And 2 minute warning. Yeah, I like 2 minute warning. I've seen that. Which of the detective shows or films are your go-tos? I'm not big on them really, but like I said, I think I used to like Barretto with Robert Blake as a kid, but I have to see it again. I don't know. I'm still waiting to find the detective shows that I really like. I mean, film-wise, it would have to be Sherlock Holmes, Basil Rathbone, the old 1940s series. How good is Pure McCartney as a compilation set? Well, I did a review of that. I think it's a very good compilation set, Pure McCartney. I did a video when it first came out if you want to check it out. However, it did miss some crucial stuff. It should have had more stuff from Flowers in the Dirt on it. What's my favorite Spider-Man movie? I'm not wild about any of them, but if I have to pick one, I would pick the first one, the Tobey Maguire first one. What's my favorite Seinfeld episode? I like the Soup Nazi, obviously. I'm not a big Seinfeld guy, but I like the one with the soup Nazi, and I like the one also with they get jobs trying to take care of elderly people. I like that one, and they turn out to be a cranky old man. I like that one. I like the one. There's one girl that has like man's hands or whatever, and stuff like that. There's one girl that she looks pretty when the certain lighting, but other lighting she looks ugly. There's certain things like that. But I don't really. And Alfred Hitchcock, I haven't seen all Alfred Hitchcock's movies, and there's some that I like better than others of the ones I have seen. Uh, I have not seen the 40s movie, The Dark Corner. No. What's my favorite Curb Your Enthusiasm episode? The first one that comes to mind is called The Black Swan, when at the golf course, Larry accidentally kills the black swan that is the owner's pet. How many more seasons do I think there'll be? I think the problem with Curb Your Enthusiasm has gotten very stale. It's gotten very one note. It's the same old again and again and again. Unless they can try something really different. I'm kind of tired of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Sights and Sounds with Mayo. Who was the first person to name the album called The Beatles? The White Album. I have no idea. I don't think that person's known. I think I don't know. I think it was just a general thing that happened. I guess fans and critics just started saying it. The White Album. Can I do my Larry David impression? I don't know that I have a Larry David impression. I don't think I've ever done a Larry David impression. Don't think so. Oh. Mix 1964 likes Barnaby Jones. Well, he's just an old doddering man. I have a hard time with that. Oh, Cannon. I actually, I didn't mind Cannon actually, if I remember William Conrad. But what I'd like to see. Well, Ironside is not with Raymond Burr is not really that's not a detective thing, right? That's a lawyer thing. Well, Adam, you're asking me what my classic films are that I think everyone should know about. There's too many of them. I don't even know where to begin. Honestly, I'm sorry. I should be able to come up with an answer for that, but Wolfgang Blaze asks, "What's the secret of being a fan of something and not being bored with it?" And I just think you got to take a break. Now, like in the case of the Beatles, you would think I've told people this many times. I can't remember the last time I put a Beatles album on. It could very well have been 6, 7 months, something like that, 8 months. The last time I put a Beatles album on was when Revolver came out, and since then I haven't played them. I can go a year without listening to a Beatles album. Uh, I tend to go more for the solo Beatles, but I find the Beatles always to be interesting and fascinating because to me, the Beatles' interest goes beyond just the music. It goes into the four personalities, the four different men that were the Beatles, and it's more than just the music. You know, where did I first see "Give My Regards to Broad Street" and did you love it on the big screen? No, I pretty much disliked it. I saw it in a movie theater when it first came out, when it premiered, first night or so. So thereabouts in I guess October of 1984, and I found it to be like I still think kind of dreary, kind of dull, kind of like grim, depressing. And there weren't many people in the theater. However, I do like the music parts. That's about all I could say. The music parts. I enjoy watching the movie for musical reasons, not for the story or anything. I did not watch Emergency show. No. What are the films that I and Ms. Mayo share or have in common? Well, unfortunately, Miss Mayo doesn't like horror films, but she watched a Dracula film with me recently, and she didn't think it was too bad. The Frank Langella version. I figured she might be able to watch that because it has romance in it. The romance. She's me. Oh, wait a minute, Jerry. It. No, it had some romance, so I figured she'd like it. She enjoyed the romance part. And there's certain comedies we watch and stuff. We don't have a lot in common when it comes to entertainment, though. We have other things in common, though. But when it comes to movies and music, not so much. Hi, Andrew. Why is Speed of Sound not rated higher? I remember when it came out, he says it was the peak of Wings. Yeah, well, it has silly love songs on it and Let 'Em In, two big radio hits. And I love Beware My Love. It's a great rockin' track. Those are my three favorite songs on it. I think a lot of people don't care for it as much because it shares a lot of space with other Wings members, maybe. Michael is talking about an old horror movie with a guy with his head in a cage where a rat eats his face off. Always wondered what that movie was. Saw it in the '70s at a horror marathon. I honestly, Michael, I don't remember that. I can't. I mean, I hate when I can't answer questions, but you asked me this before, and I didn't answer because I have no interest. But Adam asked me Mayberry RFD or Gomer Pyle. I'll go with Gomer Pyle. Hello to Harold. What's up, Harold? What about Frasier? And will you be seeing the new Frasier on streaming? If we watch the new Frasier, we're not going to stream it. That's bullshit. I mean, if Frasier, the new Frasier is going to come on, it better come on regular broadcast TV, or cable TV. I'm not going to stream it to watch it. Come on. And also, I'm curious about. I honestly, I can't see how it's going to succeed. I make a prediction that the new Frasier is going to be a bomb. I can't imagine how it's going to succeed without the other characters in it. And as far as the regular show, Frasier, that's one of my girlfriend's favorite shows, and we got up to like 7 seasons and then we stopped. So we got to continue the series. Yes, I heard that a version of "Beware My Love" with John Bonham from Zeppelin, who I think was a great drummer. I like Zeppelin and I like John Bonham's drumming, and I do have that version. I've heard it. Don't know how I feel about it. I think I might like it the regular. Maybe I'm used to the regular version better. The John Bonham one is interesting as a curio, but I don't know about the Genesis albums, Lila. I can't help you there. Cheers versus Frasier. I like Cheers much better than Frasier myself. I mean, but that's just me. Bubba or Grady? I'm gonna go with Bubba. Grady was a very boring character of Sanford and Son. Streaming is just another version of cable TV, except much cheaper. Streaming is up to 54% of US households. I don't care if it's 94%. I am not interested in streaming my shows. I'm just not interested in that. I mean, let me put it this way again. If it's an easy thing, I made videos, rant videos about how hard it was and a pain in the ass it was to stream certain shows. If it's easy, if I can just go over there, press a button and get it, maybe I do that. If I got to sign up for things, if I have to find apps and I gotta well, I can't think of the right terminology here, but if it's a pain in the butt to do it, I'm not gonna do it. I don't know whatever happened to just on broadcast TV, or whatever, you go over to the channel, whatever has the show premiering. Why not? Would everyone enjoy Christmas more if it was in the summer? Well, I grew up with Christmas in the winter, and for me, Christmas in the summer is a joke. It's a joke. Got to be winter. Got to be cold. All right, Joseph Mantaneo, thank you for being here. I'm going to be going soon too, but people are just probably getting up and coming more to the fore. So we'll see if how much I stay on. Look at all this. Adam says the easiest way to get the new Frasier is through the Amazon Paramount Plus free trial. Sorry, ain't happening. Okay. You're not gonna do an Amazon Prime free trial. I gotta go to my TV set, hit the channel, and there it is. Just like we used to do. Every fall there were new TV shows that came on, you know? Are the Beatles to blame for boy bands, the girls screaming image driven bands of today? I said this before and I'll say it again. The Beatles were never a boy band. That's a joke. But as far as the screaming girls go, a lot of people connect screaming girls with boy bands today, whatever it is. Look, the Beatles weren't boys when they came out. They were young men for one thing. And of course, the Beatles, as we know, they formed themselves. They weren't put together by a marketer. You know, they formed on their own, and they played clubs very hard. They worked hard in the late '50s and the early '60s, from like '57 or '8, whatever it was, '58 to like '62 or '3 to make it. And anyway, that's a whole other argument. But are they to blame for boy bands, screams, girls' images, and all that kind of stuff? I don't get into that. I think it's ridiculous. But I know what you're kind of saying. But yeah, girls screamed for the Beatles, but I don't think that uh, gave birth to any kind of boy band nonsense, or that they're like the originators or anything. Yeah, there's nothing really for me to watch on TV anymore, cable or otherwise. I mean, the only thing I really like about TV is that you feel like it's more part of the world. When you watch broadcast TV, regular TV, whatever, whether it's cable or not, you feel like you're sharing the experience with everybody. Everybody's watching this with you, kind of. You're plugged into the world. When you just stream something individually or you just watch a video or something, you're by yourself, kind of. You know what I mean? That's the difference for me. Yeah. So when was the last time I was drunk? I like these different questions. I've never been one to get drunk. Sorry to disappoint some people. However, when I was in my 20s, I was 21. I mean, I'm not 21 anymore. That was the last time I got drunk. Uh, and I never got, and even then, I never got drunk much. I would drink. We'd go out to a club, and the thing is, you go to the club and you'd buy a couple of drinks to you know, ease up a little bit, to chill out a little bit. And I never went too far. I always knew my limit. But there was a one or two times where I got kind of like a little, what you might call drunk. I never got sick. I never threw up or anything. But I remember a couple of times. And that was when I was 21. So there you go. Do I ever fall asleep in black and white movies and feel guilty about it? I fall asleep a lot during movies, way too much. When I watch a movie, it's almost like it's a calming thing, a relaxing thing. It's almost like I put it on to chill out and relax. And I find myself drifting off too much. However, it's not about black and white movies for me. I mean, maybe that's your thing. Maybe you're a younger guy, Wolfgang. No, it could be any movie, new, old, color, black and white, doesn't matter. Christian makes a good point. Girls screamed for Frank Sinatra, you know, in his early years. The Beatles weren't the first. That's true. So go blame Sinatra for the boy. Well, it's not band, but the boy thing. Um, what's the first tune I would put in on the jukebox in a bar? Um, I don't know. I don't know. Depends what they got, man. How about Judy in Disguise by John Fred and his Playboy band? What is my favorite Frankenstein movie from the originals? Well, I like Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, but that's not really the best Frankenstein movie, I guess. But it's my favorite of those old movies. But of the first ones, I don't know, probably this Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, and Son of Frankenstein. I don't know which my favorite one of those. It's tough, you know. Eh, in some ways, Son of Frankenstein, right there. There's a picture, Son of Frankenstein, right there. Have I ever met Neil Sedaka or the Rat Pack? No. Hello to Alfred's Garden World. What's up? I know you. What's that? I know you wear a lot of Beatles T-shirts. Do you ever wear Beatles underwear? Not once in my life have I worn Beatles underwear. I did wear horror movie underwear. There was one time a lot of years ago where Target store was putting out like horror underwear. They had like Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and I bought a couple of pair. I admit it. Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, if I had to choose, you're right, I would have to choose. Those are not my things. I've never seen Lord of the Rings. I only saw Harry Potter because my girlfriend loves it. And I don't know. Joe, on your movie channel, maybe someday you can do a horror movie collection, DVD, Blu-ray, video. Yeah, I keep saying I'm going to do that. I'm going to go up there and take all. These are all DVDs here. I'm going to take my DVDs and show my DVD collection. Then I'll show my Blu-ray collection. Yeah, I keep putting it off, but oh, there's an interesting question. What's my favorite Shemp short out of the Three Stooges? There are quite a few that I like. Um, I don't even quite a few yet. Come up with one, right? I like one called. Oh, geez, I know. Help me out here. Hold that lion. But it's not my. There's another remake of it. I forget what it's called. Jeez, I forget the name of it now. Man, there's a remake of that one. Another one I like is Gents in a Jam. Look up Gents in a Jam. Another one is Goof on the Roof. Those are like among my favorite shows. I'm trying to think of the remake of the remake with new footage of Hold That Lion, and it's better, and I can't think of what it is. The name of it now. Loose Loot. That's it. My favorite Chef short, bar none, is one called Loose Loot. There you go. Will I be getting the new Beatles socks or new Beatle trains? Negative on both. You just showed the Stooges set, didn't you? No, I showed an Abbott and Costello set recently. What's my favorite and least favorite Western? I, I, my favorite Western is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Least favorite Western. I also like High Noon, by the way, for Westerns. Least favorite Western. I didn't like The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. I only saw it once, and I didn't like it. Imagine that. What's my most underrated horror film? Oh boy. The Happening. The Happening. M. Night Shyamalan. The Happening is an underrated film. I don't know what the people's problems are with that film. Yeah, Martin McGrath. I haven't heard that. I don't know about that at all. What you just brought up. Am I going to see Scream 6? It's interesting you should ask that because I don't. The problem is I don't know the other Scream films. I saw the first Scream movie. I saw the first Scream movie in the theater. I remember hating that character Dewey, the David Arquette character. I hate that guy, and I really didn't like that character Dewey. And I remember not thinking much of the first Scream, and then I might have saw Scream 2. I don't think I saw any other ones. But the problem is, do I go to the movie theater now and see Scream 6? Which maybe I will. Maybe I will. Should I go and see Scream 6 without seeing all 5 first? I have to catch up on them. That's the point. Any chance, what is this, Sir Mayo? Any chance you could give advice? What is the key to a soulmate or to a woman's heart? I think you have to treat a woman equally. You can't be, don't be one of these macho assholes that think that they're better than the woman. You have to treat them with respect, and you have to be a good communicator. You have to speak, and talk, which I do too much. In my relationship, I do all the talking, or 90% of the talking, it seems like. And that's a start. Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin, or Harold Lloyd? Of those three, I'll go with Charlie Chaplin. And Matt says, I would rewatch the old movies, Scream movies first. This one has a lot of references to the older films. Okay, I'm with you. I'll take your word for it, Matt. In fact, I may make it a point to get all the Scream movies watched first. Yes, I have that book. Lou Costello's daughter, Chris Costello, has a book called "Who's on First." What I always get a kick out of is, I'm sorry to say this. I mean, Chris Costello, nice lady and everything, but the thing is, she was just practically a baby when her father was died. I mean, she was like what, 3 years old, 4 years old, five. Same thing really with Sean Lennon. I guess he was five when John died. 10 years time, when it's another anniversary of Beatles albums, will you be buying them? Who knows? Who knows? Believe it or not, I do skip stuff. I don't buy everything, and I gotta see how I feel, how it's done. It depends. Alfred's Garden World says, "Joe, I enjoy my T-shirt collection. Have you ever made a video of your Beatle T-shirt collection?" No, I just wear them. I just wear them. If I had to bring two people to go see the new Scream 6, who would I bring? Well, you say, would I bring Anthony? Would I bring Ms. Mayo? Would I bring Robert S? Here's the thing. First of all, Anthony has no desire in anything. Andy's a great guy. I love him, but the thing is, he's doesn't have much interest. So, and and probably has to. He wouldn't want to pay to get into movies. But then we have Robert S. Robert S. hates horror movies, so forget that. Especially, well, when I say hates horror movies, he hates slasher films, and the same thing for my girlfriend. My girlfriend does not like violent horror films. Will Elvis win any Oscars tonight? I predict that Austin Butler is going to win Best Actor. Not because, and I say that without having seen any of the other movies, and without necessarily thinking that Austin Butler was great in the movie Elvis or anything. I just think it's got all the right feel. Like I can tell a lot of times what's going to win, even if I haven't seen any of the movies or the actors. I mean, I saw Elvis, but I didn't think he was phenomenal in it. He was pretty good, but is Don still harassing me and Bazooka Joe at the record store? Sometimes. Peter Boothroyd, hello, says it would be cool if you made me Mr. Mayo or Fab Gab t-shirts. I've been putting it off forever. I mean, I have a logo design that I want to do for the Mayo t-shirts. Just a matter of doing it. Harold says he watched Lou Costello's solo and last film yesterday. You talking about the 30-Foot Bride at Candy Rock? How was it? I heard it sucks. I never seen it, but I recently got it, so I'm gonna have to watch it at some point. Would I ever bring Don to a cinema ever? No, no. I mean, we're not friends, me and Don. I mean, we're associate. I was gonna say associates. That's not the right word, but we know each other. We're okay. but he's not a friend, and not that. And the guy's like, he's a bum, So let's face the facts. As far as doing an interview with Don, I did. I think well, you said another interview. I did one interview with Don. The problem with Don is not like most homeless people. He's better than most homeless. You can see, I think, and he's smart and everything. But the thing is, he doesn't have an attention span that well. It's hard to get him focused. I don't think he would want to do an interview. Douglas Gilbert, have you picked any magazines, music spotlights, Uncut or Mojo, basically with the Beatles on them? I used to buy a lot of Beatle magazines. Occasionally, I'll still buy one, but there's just too many. I've got a closet with boxes full of Beatle magazines, and those types that come out on the newsstands at the supermarkets and things. You see them all the time. You can't buy them all. Just can't. Adam says he'll buy both T-shirts. Interesting, interesting. It's true, MC64 says, "I understand helping Don," which we do. He says, but he doesn't seem to wanna help himself. He doesn't. He doesn't. It really gets tiring after a while. Chocolate bar or biscuits? If I had a choice, it would be a chocolate bar. But, although I'm gonna bring this topic up, I don't have to, but I will. I've been trying to do better. I have been doing better. But the thing is, like I said, I'm older now than I was then. 30 years ago, when I would try to eat better and do the right things and exercise, I got results like that. I mean, in 3 months, boom. Now it's very slow. We know that your metabolism slows down, and I'm just not getting where I wanted to get. But I see some results, a little bit of results, but I'm not going to stop. But anyway, so always rather have a chocolate bar. I'm not eating that kind of crap now, at all, at all. Not in moderation. Not now and then. None. Well, that's nice of you to say that. Mick64 says you do look like you've lost weight. Yeah, I think what's funny is my clothes fit a little better, and the thing is that the numbers aren't really showing as much as I'd like yet, but we'll see. I know a lot of times when you exercise a bit and you change how you stuff your eating pattern, stuff like that, you build muscle. You know, so that's part of it. A ton. Come on, Adam. I haven't lost a ton, but thanks anyway. Something I've been, doing on and off for the last years. And this time, instead of being on, off, on, off, on, off, I'm just staying on. I'm staying on it. Now. Am I a bicycle rider or just a walker? I just walk. I try to walk every day. Today I haven't. Instead of walking now, I'm here. But the day is young. I can go out there later. I just like to walk in the morning, but I can do it in the afternoon. Why not? Hello, Scott Sineham. Good morning to you. What about the idea of an Infinity Record Store T-shirt, also a Mayo's Marquee shirt? Well, I don't know. I don't know about the Mayo's Marquee shirt, but definitely the Mr. Mayo shirt in general. I'm doing. Did I ever take up baseball or boxing? I don't believe in boxing. I don't. It's a stupid sport. I don't believe in it. As far as baseball, I like baseball, but I haven't played baseball in a long time. You know, so. What happened to Dial M for Mayo? That was a great name. Did I think I explained that to somebody earlier, but I'll say it again. I still think about going back to that. The problem was two things. Number one, it didn't have movies in the title or any kind of movies. At least the name I'm using now, Mayo's Marquee. When you think of marquee, you think of a movie marquee. Um, Dial M for Mayo was cool, a cool name. I agree. However, I just didn't. I thought some people might not know it's movies. and some people might not get the reference. Style M for Murder, the movie. Have I ever seen the Sanford and Son Hawaii Five O? No, I don't think so. Your movie channel seems to be picking up. Martin says Beetle Babe was a welcome addition. She's very nice. Yes, Beetle Babe was on my recent Q&A movie talk, and it was very different and fun to have her there, and I'm glad she came on. Yeah, and I think the movies channel's picking up a little bit. Once again, I'll promote it. I have a movie channel currently titled Mayo's Marquee, as in movie marquee. Please go over to Mayo's Marquee, subscribe, watch some videos. It's not it's mostly horror and science fiction type stuff and TV too, television shows too. But it's not only that. I do watch and talk about other movies as well. Kind of like how this channel, Me Mr. Mayo, is mainly a Beatles channel, but not only a Beatles channel. I also talk about other things and like other things too. Lila says, if the Beatles never existed, would that room of yours be full of Bob Dylan? I like Bob Dylan. I'm a Bob Dylan fan, but I don't think it would be full of Bob Dylan. Sir Mayo, did you ever or now that you're retired, ever think of Big Brother? Wait, I don't know exactly what you mean by that, but I think right now Big Brother's watching. Yeah, I think we're getting there, if that's what you mean. Scott's talking about great Frankenstein print behind you. Yes, this here, Son of Frankenstein, Karloff and Lugosi. Thank you. EKR says, "Hi Joe, do you know where you can pre-order the Ringo Record Store Day vinyl? You can't find it anywhere. I don't know where. I live around a place where I have a bunch of record stores, and I just have to go to my records. I'm not concerned with stuff like that because I'm fortunate. All I have to do is go to my record stores, and there you have them. They're there. Nintendo asked me, "What is your favorite Ringo song when he was in the Beatles?" I would say it's got to be "With a Little Help from My Friends" is my favorite Ringo song. Yellow Submarine too. Those are my two favorite. And I Want to Be Your Man. My favorite songs are probably "With a Little Help from My Friends," "Yellow Submarine," and also "I Want to Be Your Man." Uh, Adam wants to know, will you ever be doing more newer films? Well, I have. If you look, I've done reviews on Smile, which is a 2022 film. I talked about A Man Called Otto, which is a 2023 film it's a new film, and stuff like that. When Tom Hunyadi, when you say no, that's not what he meant. Laugh out loud. What? I'm lost. Um, this is going too fast. Could you tell me? Oh, oh, the Big Brother program. Yeah, I know. Okay, okay. Now I get what you mean. That's funny. That's funny. I know what you're talking about. The Big Brother thing. I would never be. No, it's not my thing. You in a way, I think it would be cool because I didn't have a dad. My dad and mother were divorced, but I grew up in the house with my mother, my grandmother, and my grandfather. And my grandfather was a great man who was like my father figure, really. But yeah, I don't know what the Big Brother program is. In fact, there's an episode of the Odd Couple TV show about Felix and Oscar being big brothers. But anyway, Martin McGrath says, I would say George is the least popular Beatle. Would you agree? I don't know about it. Depends. I don't know. If you ask most people on the street, they probably heard of George the least. I'm guessing that many people out on the street, young people who are not familiar, might not know George Harrison as well. But generally speaking, I don't think he's least popular now at all. I think it's either John or Ringo. And I know people scoff at that. Oh, come on. I'm not going to get into this. Okay. I went into it with my video. I've been around a long time and I've seen the popularity of all four Beatles come and go and blah, blah, blah. And these days, John is not very popular with the people. Neither and Ringo not as much either. It's really Paul and George, I think. But anyway, I could be wrong. That's just my observation of it. And I think I told the story of how I went to about a year ago, or not quite. I say a year ago, it was 6 months, 7 months ago, when I went to a store where they had a lot of Paul McCartney merchandise, and Tom remembers this. A guy got in a big Paul McCartney collection, and I went there, and there was a whole bunch of Paul McCartney memorabilia, and I bought a bunch. I made videos on it, and a guy came in the store who was a dealer, and he said, you can't give John Lennon stuff away today. You can't even sell it. George sells better than John, he told me. People don't buy John stuff anymore. So there you go. Odd couple trivia. What are we talking about? I think Matt's right. He says, I feel like George is the cool Beatle now. It's cool to have George as your favorite. Yeah, I think so. It's not cool to have John as a favorite anymore at all. Hopefully the times will change and people will get over this, you know. Joel Morris is currently reading the Glyn Johns book. Nintendo wants to know, what do you think is an underrated Wings album? For me, it's Back to the Egg and Wildlife. Well, yeah. Back to the Egg, I think, is the most underrated Wings album. Wildlife maybe second because those didn't get uh, well thought of. You know, I wonder who was the most approachable Beatle. It depends, really. I think all four Beatles had their bad days. A lot of people will think Paul is the most approachable Beatle. I'm not going to go into the details again, but I got him once. I was with two girl fans in 1995, and we got him on a bad day. But John had bad days too. Ringo certainly is hard to approach. I think Ringo is the least approachable Beatle, and George as well didn't want to be bothered. Sometimes I don't know the most approachable Beatle. I don't know. You know, there was a time when John was the most approachable. Again, this sounds like I'm shilling for John, but it's true. If you go, there's a Facebook page called "The Love of John Lennon," and there are endless photos of in the '70s of people meeting John, him signing autographs, endless. You know. Um, Peter Boothroyd, the masses can't handle the authenticity of the Plastic Ono Band album. They want a simulation of authenticity without having to indulge in existential angst. Well said. Okay. Lila asks, how do I feel when I get recognized? Well, it doesn't happen very often. The couple of places I get recognized, first of all, at my record store. When I go to my record store, there are people in there that have seen my videos. And also, when I go to the Fest for Beatles fans, obviously, there's a lot of people that watch my videos and they see me. And how do I feel about it? Well, I'm not a big star. However, people know me from the videos. And when they see me, I feel good. It feels good to know that people like you, that recognize you. And a lot of people want to take photographs. That's always cool with me anytime. And it's a good feeling. I imagine that it could get to be crazy in a while. If I was like Elvis, I'll never be like that. But for Elvis and McCartney and Lennon and the Beatles, yeah, that's got to get a bit much to say the least. But I love it. So say hello. Come to the Fest for Beatles fans. Say hello. Adam's funny. Sir Mayo, will they ever make a movie about you and your life? No. But if they did, it would be an interesting movie. Good morning, Jerome. How are you? What's the one thing I would have asked John Lennon if I could have? I'd have to think about it. That's always a tough question to answer. It's really, really tough. This is interesting. Mick64 says, being a workaholic, I relate more to Paul than to the others. Well, here's the thing. I'm a workaholic when it comes to doing something I love, like my channel, for example. I love doing this. Um, yeah, I love doing this. But so I'm not a workaholic though. If I'm doing a 9 to 5 job that I hate, then I'm a slacker. Sorry, I don't believe if you're doing something you hate, it sucks. Doing something I love, I always feel like if I had a group like the Beatles, I'd be more like Paul. I'd be like constantly trying to perfect things, and that's what I do with my channel here. Um, Wilfred Bramble versus Red Fox. Red Fox all the way. Red Fox is I haven't seen Wilfred Brambell and Steptoe and Son, but, you know, are you a breakfast eater? Um, it's funny, I don't know how to answer that. My whole life, I've never been a big breakfast eater. Uh, my favorite meal is lunch, the middle of the day, actually, but, these days I have breakfast, I guess, and, you know, but it's a very lean breakfast, maybe 2 eggs, maybe a couple of pieces of fruit, something like that. Tom says, excuse me, I got a cough here for a second. Tom Magnotti says Lawrence Jubert said that Paul had a great work ethic and that he wasn't necessarily a workaholic. That's seems like a contradiction, but I get you. Um, well, that's his observation too, right? I mean, Ringo called him a workaholic. Lawrence Jubert didn't consider him that. So I'm getting close to 2 hours here. The only thing is I'm enjoying myself. I don't like these. This is going to be a video when I'm done. Videos, I don't like them too long, but I may keep this going for a while if we keep getting fun questions and stuff. This is just a Sunday where I'm just lazing around the house and not going anywhere. So it's hard to think that Lawrence Juber did not think Paul was a workaholic because they did a lot of things together, even when Juber was there. Even in the short time that Juber was with Paul, they did a lot. It's funny, Adam asked me, "What would I do if I found out and discovered my life was like EdTV or the Truman Show?" When I was a kid, I always say I invented the Truman Show. I used to walk around and think, "What if like my life was on TV all the time, like a live TV? People watch me 24/7." I don't know why I thought that. I said, "Imagine if there was a camera on you all the time." So, which of the three generations of oceans is best to you? You lost me there. What do I think of Ringo Rama? Dockman asked me. Everybody loves Ringo Rama. They think it's one of his best, albums in the 2000s. It's okay. It's not one of my favorites, but it's got some good stuff on it. It's definitely got some good stuff on it. And it's a kind of album, one of those albums that falls through the cracks that I need to experience again. I need to listen to it more. Anything Beatles related, I'm currently trying to collect or on the lookout for. Well, I keep talking about albums wise. I want to get the so-called VJ portrait cover with them all in their colorless suits, the Frank Ifield album with the portraits with the gray suits. That's the main album I want. There's other things too. Beatles hairspray, Beatles pencil cases, all the Beatles memorabilia that I have not gotten. There's a lot of Beatles stuff that I don't have. I'd also like to say hello to Elliot. Elliot Ween is here. What's going on, Elliot? Tim Sinat asked me, "Do I think that John would have recorded with or written with Julian and Sean?" Again, no way to know that. No way to know that. You could say yes, you could say no. Because as I always say, whenever there's a what if question, do you think this would have happened? The only thing we can go on is how um, the person was before they died. Like, in other words, you have to take John in 1980 and see if the John of 1980 would have written with Julian in 2020. No, that John wouldn't have, but he might have changed. That's the whole thing. They would have changed. I mean, the Paul of 1980 wouldn't have made over half his show Beatles. The Paul of 76 wouldn't have made if Paul had died in 76 or 80, would you ever imagine that he would have made over half his show of concerts Beatles songs? My least favorite Planet of the Apes film of the classic films. My least favorite Planet of the Apes film of the classics. It's funny. You're gonna freak out when I say this. Right now, it's the original Planet of the Apes. And why do I say that? Because the original Planet of the Apes is obviously the best one. But you can be fatigued with something and overdose on it. I've seen that so many times. When I watch, sometimes I have a Planet of the Apes marathon, go ape for a day, where I watch all five Apes films. So when I do that, I'm very eager to get past the first film. Yeah, yeah, it's like a job, a chore, responsibility to watch the original. And after that's gone, then I like getting into the sequels, different stuff. So that's my least favorite, believe it or not. I don't think it's the worst. It's probably the best, but I'm just tired of it. Yeah, I don't know the Ocean's movies, Ocean's 11 and all. I have never seen any of them. Elliot went to a record show in Wayne, New Jersey, found a copy of George Harrison's "Somewhere in Utopia." That's a good bootleg. I think isn't it a double record set? I have it. And then Doc Dacus says, "I think he means your least favorite of the original 5 Planet of the Apes movies." That's just what I gave you. The original Planet of the Apes movie is my least favorite, believe it or not. Have I ever seen Alf? No, never have. Have I ever seen The Invention of Lying? Yeah, I think I did see that movie, The Invention of Lying. Now I'm on officially 2 hours and 3 minutes. Wow. But, this time goes fast when you're having fun. So, answer that question, Doc. Doc, I wanna know, will you stream me on later? Doc, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to make it today. Not that it matters. I'm just, I'm just saying, I might be out and about at that time. If I can make it, I'll try to make it. And I will say, Doc Dacus, boy, you were really coming out swinging a little bit, I thought, in that John Lennon marginalization thread. I thought, I could be wrong. That's right. Two legs is doing something at one. I'm gonna have to look at Tom Hunyadi. If you're still here, which I don't know if you're here, if Tom Hunyadi's here, could you explain what the Two Leg Show is about? That you're doing this thing about McCartney songs and everything. I really don't know what we're supposed to do. It's like is it an audience participation thing? I'm not sure I understand it. If you're here, Yeah, I don't know what that is, Madam Johnny Carson's. Oh, Karnak. I mean, zalabim, that kind of stupid thing. Yeah, that's all right, funny. I remember one time, well, I don't think it, no, it wasn't her, but Howard Stern. Howard Stern used to take a takeoff of Karnak. You would say an answer, then read the question. He went uh something about how now, brown cow. How now, brown cow. And then he read the envelope and he said, uh, what does Oprah Winfrey's lover say when wants her to change sexual positions? Hey, look, oh, what do you say? Don't look at me. Howard Stern said it. I'm just relating it. So anyway, and that was a long time ago too, by the way. Oprah's looking pretty great, I gotta say. You know. Um, I think we're gonna drawing to an end here, folks. I'm gonna be getting some. Speaking of breakfast, I haven't had any breakfast. But, the clocks have changed. It's 12 noon right now, but actually, the time yesterday would have been 11 a.m. I eat about 11 a.m. That's when I first eat. So, uh, yeah, I don't watch too much of that early Stooges stuff. I got to be honest with you. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this up now, folks. So I thank you all for being here. This has been a really fun Q&A for me. A lot of good questions. Thank you all. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel, Mean Mr. Mayo, if you haven't already. Please also subscribe to my movie channel, which this week is being called Mayo's Marquee again. Mayo's Marquee. And yeah, I want to see how that tournament thing works. I don't know how that tournament thing works on two legs. So please, folks, subscribe, help out the channel, where you can. Much appreciated. Don't forget I'm a retired man now, so you know what I mean? That helps. Thank you, everybody. I wish there was more I could come up with. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel Talk More Talk, where we discuss solo Beatles stuff. And oh yeah, this video is gonna stay up. That's the idea, Adam. The video is gonna stay up. Talk to you all soon.